Although I know there is a small chance you will actually watch this video, I feel compelled to share this open letter with you. I, like many others, have been your most adamant supporters since the time you announced your intention to run for the office of the presidency of the United States. Since that time, I, as well as many others, have vehemently supported your administration's incredible effort to bring safety, security, and prosperity back to a nation that had been destroyed from within. The destroyers were lying politicians, fake news reporters, fascist protesters, and many corrupt corporate leaders, just to name a few. We defeated them in 2016. We rejected their false song of globalism, and we elected a champion of the people. But today, that's all coming under attack once again. Our movement began with the simple phrase, "Make America Great Again," a phrase that embodied the overwhelmingly daunting task of reestablishing a country that has been responsible for so many great ideals and achievements. Our founding fathers built a system of governance by the people and for the people. They fought, bled, and died to ensure that future generations would enjoy the same freedoms which were inherently promised to us by our Creator. Those freedoms are under attack. In case you were not aware, our country has been lulled into a state of unmitigated complacency. The incredible advancement of technology and the internet has created a new domain in which an unbelievable amount of power and control has fallen into the hands of a very small group of extremely diabolical and dishonest political and corporate entities. As of this letter, there remain countless examples of how these monolithic corporations have started using their immense power, coupled with their vast legal immunities, to begin the wholesale removal of we, the American people's constitutionally guaranteed right to free speech without unreasonable discrimination. Just as the civil rights movement sought to remedy a broken system which institutionalized racism and bigotry, so too are we in desperate need of a movement championed by a leader who will recognize the injustice of our modern big tech tyranny. Our society is composed of a multitude of different thoughts and ideas. These thoughts and ideas are of paramount importance when one examines the innate foundational base of our free and open society, which is a beacon of hope around the world. Unfortunately, there are those among us who do not believe our basic freedoms matter. There are those among us who prefer oppression over expression. There are those among us who prefer silence over debate. And there are those among us who prefer servitude over freedom. I am writing you this letter as an open plea for help. Over the span of history, our nation has endured wars, famines, epidemics, natural disasters, and a Great Depression, just to name a few things. But we have persevered and overcome these great challenges by coming together and reinforcing the idea that America is an exceptional nation with exceptional people. Today, our new adversity presents itself in the form of authoritarian censorship. After decades of empty promises and disingenuous platitudes, the elites of Silicon Valley have finally revealed their true intent by initiating the most draconian and Orwellian push towards centralized control of thought this country has ever seen in modern times. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google have used their unassuming corporate facades to not only become the largest and most powerful corporations in the world, but they have also managed to make themselves ubiquitous as the only game in town worth playing. Our nation's political discourse, as well as nearly all other discourse, has now crossed into the digital age. Newspapers, radios, and TVs are now fading into the realm of antiquity, only to be rapidly replaced by the ever-growing use and dependence on the internet via computer, smartphone, and tablet. With this migration, the big tech companies have gained veritable monopolies over digital information in the span of only a couple of decades. This transition and subsequent result has profoundly changed the landscape for free speech in this country. Today, these companies, who proclaimed to be open speech platforms without bias, have instead become a new elite ruling class who digitally subjugates the American people by denying access to the virtual public square. They have institutionally implemented protocols which undermine constitutionally guaranteed civil liberties by effectively shadow banning, deboosting, and deplatforming anyone who will not agree to use the speech which they deem acceptable. This is an egregious violation of our civil rights. People are being banned from these supposed open speech platforms simply because someone, somewhere, is offended by what someone else has to say. If we are going to uphold the tenets and principles outlined in the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights, we must address this issue now, before these same big tech oligarchs start to intervene in our political system more by using their absurdly massive reach and control to affect their own desired outcomes and subvert the will of the American people. I am asking the President and the U.S. Congress to stand against this digital dictatorship by revoking the legal immunities provided by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act for any corporation found to be in direct violation of this agreement. Also, I am calling on the President to work with Congress to legislate and pass new protections for the civil liberties of digitally active citizens of the United States. In the words of President Trump, quote, "Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by we, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich themselves." End quote. These institutions must abide by the Constitution, and they must be held accountable. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America. Thanks for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. You guys want to do me a favor? Go and tweet this at the President. Let's see if we can get his attention. Thanks, guys.